Hello everyone, welcome to City Design, a large part of our How It's Built series. We're redesigning Gonsberg City, and we decided to document the process so we could share it with anyone who wants to design their own city. Always start with constraints. The largest constraint is space. How large could your city possibly be? Our constraint is 4 tables, each of which fits 6 large 48 by 48 base plates. We started by laying them out in the most square shape possible, because one of our goals is to have the city look equally good from any side. After placing a few markers for where possible buildings might be, we wanted to figure out the railroad. We have a lot of tracks and trains, and we would really like to incorporate them into the city. We realized that the ocean should probably have different depths and areas, so we marked this with different colored blue parts. We'll have a coral reef in the light blue area, and deep water in the dark blue surrounding an island. Next, we sketched the mountain and the neighborhood with hills. Gonsberg Mountain is quite important, and given where the railroad is, we may as well have it go through the tunnel under the mountain. Houses and businesses were next. These include the main neighborhood, and shops such as Dessert Kingdom and the Big Pig. We realized that the shops would not fit by the industrial district, so we moved some of them up to the downtown area of the city by the mountain. That brown trampoline-looking part marks the No Strings Attached climbing camp from one of our original 2007 comics. A good city needs green space, and trees to make the passing of the seasons obvious. We're adding these here, and planning a central park with a fountain. We also wanted a cornfield, which would probably go by the hills. A dense forest would be nice for exploring a river and climbing trees, and would make sense leading up to the mountain and the hills. At some point, we agreed that a railroad wasn't really useful to the city, so we removed it, letting us plant trees instead. Now that we have the broad strokes painted, we can focus on more specific details. We began planning the sizes of plots of land, and including sidewalks into the layout. Our sidewalks are 4 studs wide, and our plots are in multiples of 4, usually 16 or 32 studs wide. Having a consistent size is super useful because changes are easy to make with these numbers. We moved to planning the residential area, the size of neighborhood and surrounding shops. We need at least 3 different houses in the neighborhood for animated, and preferably more. The trees we placed earlier end up in the way, so we had to get rid of them. Planning using the actual sizes of roads and sidewalks was very helpful, because it gave us a realistic scale of the layout. Temporarily done with the residential area, we moved back to the industrial area. We planned the sizes of the police station, processing plant, and the warehouse. We needed now to know our other constraints, so we placed many more sidewalks around the layout. We're starting to map our downtown area. Another goal of our city is to have plenty of parking areas. Not having enough space to park cars was a problem we ran into with our last city, and we really want to prevent this from happening again. The parking spaces are marked in sand green. We established the contours of our ocean and beach a little better, including a seawall for the industrial area. At the intersection of roads, our plans are disjoint. We're not too sure what to do with the space just yet. So for now, we work on other areas, which will force us to do something specific with the space soon. Alleyways are another goal we want in Gonsberg City. These make deliveries easier and interesting police chases. There's an alleyway right next to the bank, so crooks can park there and break in, and so the armored truck can deposit valuables there. The parking lot for the bank could also be used for the beach and the downtown area, which is the kind of reusable space we want. Now we're figuring out what to do with the roads and how they meet up. We're using custom roads, which we'll show in another video. There are many advantages to custom roads. One of the greatest is the flexibility to change them up. Our roads have lots of turns between smaller buildings than the pre-made Lego roads accommodate, and we can finagle the roads to suit us. We're realizing we need more downtown space, so the parking lot has to get smaller as we move sections of road and building towards the beach. This is why we don't fill the city with details yet, so we can easily change it. Expanding the plan for the downtown area comes next. Thanks to our earlier sidewalk, we can plan where the road will lay for this section of the street. We still want to include the park and decide to put it among several other buildings in a block in the center. It's important to leave gaps between every few buildings. This gives them depth and allows characters easy access on and offset while animating. Finding the balance between buildings and alleys is up to each designer. We typically like 3 plots of land for a building, and then a sidewalk. Our small buildings are 16 by 16 studs each. We need specific buildings in our city, and now that we have somewhere to put them, we plan where they will be located. We designate the museum, beachside apartments, Gogsburg Tower, and the park. After completing these roads, we now have well-defined areas to place buildings. A few, including the school and the S-Mart, are larger, and we'll probably have to make these at least 2 stories to fit into the layout. We plan to put Dessert Kingdom and TV Tower now here. Our restaurants are spread out across the city, so characters will have to travel across the city. We also have skyscrapers spaced out just right for urban car chases. Our well-defined skyline will make for cool helicopter-style camera angles. Now it's time for even smaller adjustments. Completing sidewalks and roads, and counting studs to make sure everything lines up are steps for this stage of designing the city. We've got special sizes in the city block and around that weird corner of the industrial district, and we're making sure they will work and look good. Since we removed all those trees, now it's time to add them back in again. These are deciduous trees, with leaves that change color and fall off to show the different seasons passing. We'll worry about specifics such as size later on. The park area is a little more cramped now than we'd like. There's barely any room for a crowd to gather for a mayoral speech. Now we switch to designing stoplights. They'll have street signs on them, hopefully custom printed. Our version of LEGO Digital Designer wasn't cooperating with the flexible tubing, so we went with an alternative design. The lights we designed earlier had 4 sides, but real stoplights only have 1 side, which we corrected. A crossing button would be nice to have because custom roads allowed for crosswalks. That's all for the first episode of City Design. We'll keep documenting changes we make and show you our thought process, so you can design a custom city you love too. Thanks for watching. If you like LEGO, chances are you'll like our LEGO Ideas project. It's based off the popular game Portal 2. Please support it. The link is below. Have a great day!